What's going on, man? We are back again with another video, and today I'm just going to discuss that the NBA is back, man. We're finally back with NBA basketball. We get two bangers for the opening night, 76ers versus Celtics. That's a lot of narrative behind that matchup. That's kind of a rivalry that we've had over the last couple of years. They had two tight playoff series, and I just remember a lot of plays with Jason Tatum going against Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. So we got that, and of course we got to get the ring ceremony with the Warriors, and of course they're going against the Lakers. We get to see that for the 60th time in a row. So we're finally back with NBA basketball, man. I feel like this season is going to be really great, so I just wanted to kind of bring a video and just to let y'all know what to expect this year. And it's kind of like a bold predictions video. My man, I got a lot of predictions for this year, so I just had to kind of change up the titles a couple of times. But like I said, we're just going to talk about what to expect for this NBA season, so let's just get straight into it. Now, I kind of hinted at this a lot of times during the off season, just with the amount of teams getting better, and like we're like in a league with 7 contenders. Like I can see about 7 to 8 teams kind of winning the championship. So I'm just expecting this year to be one of the best years we've seen in a long time. Starting off with the young talent, we have a lot of young talent, not even at the all-star level. We got young talent like Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, primed for a huge second year. Jalen Green, primed for a huge second year. We have that. Then we even got the rookies, and Paolo Banchero, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Benedict Mathen, Jaden Ivey, who are very young, exciting rookies on very young, exciting teams. The Magic, they're not going to win a lot of games, but they're going to be worth watching. The Pistons, same thing. Even without Chet, OKC, this is the amount of young talent that they have. I'm going to be tuned in a lot, especially because they have the young talent that I really like. I'm going to be tuned in a lot, so we have a lot of young talent. Then the top dogs, like Giannis by far best player in the world, but like after him, it's in a race for like who's number 2, who's behind Giannis. You got KD, you got Steph. I'm expecting LeBron to bounce back. A lot of people are behind that whole Luka winning the MVP wave. You got him coming up, and then we have a lot of contenders. Like I said, the Bucks, the Clippers, the Warriors, 76ers, Celtics, Nets, Nuggets. I feel like I'm forgetting another team on the West. Damn near. I'm just throwing out a bullshit name. The Mavs, like we're just so deep this year as far as contenders. And like I said, they're led by the top guys in the league. So I'm just expecting this year to be so fun, so competitive. And it just kind of is fun that we went from a time where it was like, all right, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs. And then for the last couple of years, it's been matchups that we didn't think we were going to see. I didn't think the Celtics were going to come out of nowhere and be in the playoff in the finals last year. I kind of thought the Warriors were, because like when the Warriors are healthy, they're always going to be in the finals. That's just known logic. And in 2021, we got Suns versus the Bucks. That kind of came out of nowhere too, especially the Suns. The year before that, they were again in the lottery. Then you go and get Chris Paul, and now you make that finals push. That's kind of crazy. So I feel like we're in a streak where we're getting finals matchups that we haven't seen in a long time. So hopefully we get one of those this year. But like I'm expecting this year to be really fun and really exciting. Now the second thing is, I'm just gonna let y'all know, expect a crazy tank from a lot of teams for Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson. It's just bound to happen. I know a lot of GMs, even GMs that got competitive teams, was watching that game and like, yo, we might have to like sit some players here and there just to not make it look like we're tanking, but like, yeah, we're tanking for them guys, because those are 2 generational talent, especially Victor Wembanyama. We've never ever seen a player like that. And I know a lot of teams going to want that guy. Same thing with Scoot. For him to be so young, to dominate in the G League, be a top 10 player in the G League at 17 years old, and then see him go at Victor Wembanyama, even though Victor Wembanyama is 7'5", to see him go at him, that was just kind of crazy. And I know a lot of people, a lot of GMs was just kind of turned on by that game. So we're going to see some teams, even though I named them earlier, like the Magic, like the Thunder, like the Pistons, trying to tank to get these 2 guys, because those are, they're guys that kind of generational, but they also guys that can fit anywhere. Like I feel like Scoot can be a ball dominant guard, but he can also play all ball with a ball dominant guard. And I feel like Victor can play with a 4, he can play the 5, he can play both positions. So I feel like these are 2 generational talents that they can fit anywhere. So it's definitely going to be a tank for those guys. So expect that. And like I said, I also hinted at this in a couple videos. We're going to get a really, really fun MVP race. A real fun MVP race. Like, You just look at the amount of candidates. Giannis, like I said, best player in the world by far. He's definitely going to be there. Walking 29 and 13. That's just everyday thing for him. Jokic gets his team back. They're looking like one of the strongest regular season teams in the league. So let's say they win 60 games and he averages damn near triple-double. He's going to be up there. I already told y'all, Steph Curry, I just feel like he's just going to have a motivated season this year, coming off last year. How great that felt to actually get over the hump and win that Finals MVP. I think he's going to be really motivated to get that championship. LeBron James, I think, not making a play-in at all. Even though we don't have a good enough team, I just think LeBron is coming back from benches. Even AD, you can bring him up in that situation. Joel Embiid finishing top 2 in MVP race for the last 2 years. Maybe he finally gets his this year. Jason Tatum leading his team to the finals, having one of the best playoff runs I personally have ever seen. I'm bought in on Jason Tatum. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he actually wins that. He's up there. Luka, like, we have so many MVP candidates. This is bound for a deep MVP race, and I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for it. I don't think we've had a season like this where you can legit have narratives and you have names for about 6 to 7 guys. That's really fun. I can't wait. Like I told y'all, my MVP pick. Actually, I haven't picked. I said between Steph and LeBron because I think they're going to have a historic race, which I hope comes true. But if I was to pick, I'll pick Steph because they're obviously going to have a better team. I think we're also going to have a historic playoff race. And this is because the young teams that are coming up, I don't think they fear anybody. Like, I'm looking at the Pelicans, the way they looked at the Suns last year, like, yeah, the Suns don't really have nothing to, like, make you back down. But them niggas just won 64 games. And the Pelicans were just going at them like it was nothing. They weren't scared. But they're a team full of bunch of young guys or even guys that haven't really been in the playoffs before. And they didn't back down. And they just went and tried to kill. Same thing with the Timberwolves. Even though they faced a young team and themselves in the Grizzlies, they didn't back down. And they went out to kill. The young guy, Anthony Edwards, he just turned up. And we go to the East, the Cavs. I think we're hungry. Because we know we should have been in the playoffs last year, but injury took it away. But now we add one of the best playoff performances we've seen in a long time. And Donovan Mitchell, I just feel like we're hungry. And I think it's just a lot of young teams that can go out there and beat anybody. Like in the East, I think the only team we can't beat is the Bucks. I just don't think we will have an answer for Giannis. But I think we could beat the Nets. I think we could beat the 76ers. I think we could beat the Celtics. That'll probably be the hardest test out of the 3. But I think we could beat a lot of teams. And a big part of that is because Donovan Mitchell he's a problem come playoff time. He's a problem. And then on the West, the Pelicans, I was talking about this on Twitter the other day. The only team in the West I don't think they can beat is the Warriors. That's the only team. And maybe the Clippers just because like that wing and that depth is crazy. But other than that, I think they could beat every team. The Nuggets, I think they can beat them. One thing y'all might have a question about is like who's going to stop Jokic. Then I can bounce that back with who's going to stop Zion, who's going to stop BI, who's going to stop CJ, because they have willing perimeter defenders. But like we just seen a dude that finished top 2 in the Defensive Player of the Year race, and Mikal Bridges go up against BI. And B.I. killed him. He killed him. He kind of had his way with C.J. McCollum. I agree with that, but C.J. McCollum is a known playoff performer. I just think he was kind of thrown in a hard position, just getting thrown into a team, and then y'all make a playoff push, and now you're still trying to get used to everybody's game. Should I pass here? He's playing a new position. So I kind of understand that. So, but I'm not using that excuse for this year. But like he's been a known playoff performer. And then Zion, like who's going to stop Zion? You can tell me Aaron Gordon and KCP can stop BI, and I'm not going to agree with you. I'm going to think it's stupid, but I can see where you're coming from. But who on that team is stopping Zion? You put Jokic on Zion, he will foul out every game. Every single game. That's an exaggeration, of course. But I just think that's a good matchup for both teams. Against the Mavericks, I think they washed the Mavericks. Against the the Grizzlies, they washed the Grizzlies. The Lakers, they washed them. The Pelicans, the Suns, they'll beat them. Same thing with the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves can beat a lot of teams in the West. The one thing that might hurt them is obviously that small ball lineup. But it's different this year because you can't sit Rudy. Because Rudy has defenders now. And I love all the teams that I just named. I love their coaches. And I think they have really good coaches to back them up. And I didn't even talk about the top guys. The Warriors, the Clippers, the Nets, the Bucks, the Celtics. Like, we have some amazing playoff teams this year, and I can't really give you a definitive answer who I think is going to win the championship, because it's like 8 to 9 contenders in the league. Like I said, my pick is Giannis. Like I said, Giannis, because I just look at Giannis so high. I think he's about to go on a run where he's about to start knocking these championships out. Not in a row, but like he's going to win a lot of championships in the next couple of years. So that's my last thing to expect is, and this is more about a couple players. Expect the emergence of Bam Adebayo and Michael Porter Jr. Now, I want to start off with Bam Adebayo, and I hope not to take a lot of time. But I feel like as NBA fans, we kind of underrate what Bam Adebayo does because we want him to be more. So I understand why we want Bam to be more, because when we looking at his game and like how he gets his stuff, how he gets his buckets, there's a lot off pick and roll play. He'll give you some face-ups, but mostly it's pick and roll play and him just being an elite lob threat. That's how he gets most of his buckets, and then a lot on fast break. But when we look at Bam, the player, and the flashes that he shows us, not consistently, but a lot of times is he can spread out his game, and that's what we want. But since he doesn't do it often, we decide to kill him for it and just decide not to be patient. Which is like, yo, we got to look at this. Bam is 23, 24 years old. So the fact that he's as good as he is right now and he hasn't really reached his peak, we got to accept that. Now, I can be honest and say, like, all right, maybe this year, next year, if he doesn't add that outside game that he obviously has in his game, like, we looking at him, one of the most skilled big men we've probably ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen a 6'10", 6'11" guy with that handle. I don't think I've seen it. Like, if you watch Bam, he has a really crazy handle, really crazy long cross, all of that, but he doesn't use it. And I don't know why, but if we looking at who he is right now, he's still a really good 23, 24-year-old. Now, if he doesn't reach that outside game that we all want, then maybe I can kind of be like, all right, now I'm done. I'm kind of off it. This is just what we're going to get. And I'm okay with that. He's still a 19-10 guy with one of the best defense we've seen in a long time. I already know he's damn near the best defender in the world on the other side. But we just want more, and I understand that. And I think this year he has to give it to him because they have no option. This team they got bad. They got worse. And you look at it, they really only lost PJ Tucker. But that's the big loss. And this is why he'll probably be my pick for Defensive Player of the Year, because he has to step it up. And I think he can. He's, like I said, generational defender. Generational. We haven't seen something like that. A lot of people got this guard 1 through 5 label. It's 3 people, actually 4 people, and 4 people only. Bam Adebayo, Ben Simmons, and I'm probably forgetting somebody, but Bam Adebayo, Ben Simmons, Jonathan Isaac, and Draymond Green, and I'll add AD, and all 5 of those guys are generational defenders. So Bam is a generational defender, but on that other side, the stuff that we want is just to work on his outside game, and I feel like off the preseason, and I know not to account this a lot, but off of some off-the-court runs, some off-season runs, he looks like he's kind of trying to add on to that game. Because when we look at Bam, he's just super talented. Like, he has handles of a guard, but I feel like the system that he's playing in won't allow him to do that stuff. So that's why I kind of chilled on criticizing Bam, because I realized they won't allow him to reach his full potential, but they are not stopping him to spread out his game and shoot it from the 3 or shoot it from the mid-range. He's stopping himself from doing that, and I realized that a long time ago, especially when I believe the first year that Jimmy got there. He said he's going to fine him $100 that he doesn't shoot a 3, and he still doesn't shoot 3s. I believe that year he shot 4 3s. So I just want him to shoot more, not just more 3s, but shoot more mid-range 3s. Do all of that. You don't got to shoot at a high clip, and that's one thing I also think. Not only we're misconstruing, but he is like, we want you to shoot. We're like, we don't want you to shoot 5 or 6 threes. We just want you to shoot 1, because I believe he can shoot. You shoot 2 3s a game, you hit 1, you're 50% from the 3. Now you're making me as a defender guess, and I have to come out there and try to contest your shot, and you're quick enough, you have the handle to go right past me when I do that. So you gotta make the defenders guess, and him being able to shoot that 3, that's going to help out. I'm sweating like hell, and I'm not stopping this video to go turn the fan on, but he just has to be willing to shoot the 3. So with Bam, like I said, he's super talented, and I feel like this is the year that he brings all the talent out. And when I look at this, I kind of look at this the same situation as LeBron and AD. Like, yes, Jimmy is great. Yes, LeBron is great. But Bam and AD should be the best players on that team. And I think this is the year that we get that from both guys. And I'm just hoping we really get that from Bam. I understand it might be harder for AD because like we look at LeBron so high. But for Bam, him and Jimmy Butler, I know the playoffs kind of help Jimmy Butler, but looking at them two as a player, they're right next to each other. And the only thing that's missing from Bam is just the hunger. He doesn't have the hunger that Jimmy Butler has. Jimmy Butler is less talented than Bam, but Bam is not better because he doesn't have the hunger. If he gets that hunger and applies that to his game, then it can be really scary, and we can actually look at them as probably the best team in the East. Because I feel like you get a playoff Jimmy along with 22. Do y'all remember 2020 Celtics series Bam, where he was doing all the things that we've been asking for him? That's why we look at him so high, because like, yo, you just came from 2020, your second year starting. You were actually, I think that was your first year starting, and you were dominating against a good team. You were dominating, and then for the last 2 years, we're not getting that Bam. That's why us as NBA fans are allowed to be disappointed in Bam. But I think this is the year he finally repays us, and I can't wait. Now with Michael Porter Jr., I'm high, like super, like 420 high on Michael Porter Jr. That potential ever since high school has just been something crazy. A 6'10" guy that can shoot and score the way he can is just something we haven't seen since Kevin Durant. We just haven't seen it. And I understand why he actually got the KD comparisons, because coming out of college and high school, he played just like KD. A lot of one-dribble pull-ups, a lot of turnarounds in the paint, an elite shooter. And I think I'm scared for the injuries, but this year and what I've seen in the preseason is he's actually worked on his game a lot. As far as he's dribbling a lot more, he's getting to his spots quicker and better. And even on defense, he stepped it up a little bit. Yes, it's preseason. You're going to get some guys that's trying to earn a contract. I understand that. But he just looked like he worked on his game at his time, not on the court. So I'm expecting a huge year from him. And I remember in 2021, I was kind of pushing the narrative that he was the second best player. Might have been too early for that. But I feel like this can be the year, because I'm expecting Jamal to kind of like take a back seat, and that's just in the regular season. Of course, we all know who Jamal is in the playoffs, but I'm expecting him to kind of take a back seat during the regular season, not push himself too much, because this is their year. They need to make that push, and I feel like Michael Porter Jr. unlocking himself as a player can help them get to that push. But other than that, man, let me know what y'all think about these topics that I talked about today. If you have your own, tell me in the comments. But other than that, man, like and subscribe, share with your friends. I'm out. Peace out.